Took my love, took it down. I climbed the mountain and I turned around. Man, I saw my reflection in a snow-covered hill. The landslide brought me down. A mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child in my heart?
Oh, hey folks, Mike Barter here, everybody's favorite mountain guide. And today, you know, since I have an axe in my hand, I got to thinking, we haven't covered ice axes, right? Now, there's a lot of you guys that, oh yeah, I've been climbing waterfalls forever, I know everything there is to know about ice axes. Well, that ain't no ice axe. I got news for you. That's an ice tool. Big difference. An ice axe is as essential as your jacket, your crampons, and your boots if you're going to be doing mountaineering. And they'll get you places and do things for you that nothing else will.
And I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down.
So this is the kind of terrain where you'll find yourself using an ice axe quite often. Big snow slopes. The ice axe provides you the opportunity to arrest yourself, and it's another point of contact when you're moving your feet. So it gives you that added psychological and physical security that can, you know, move you up those big slopes, make you feel still quite comfortable. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? So the ice axes themselves, you know, they have different purposes. They do different jobs. I might carry an axe that's, you know, significantly heavier than maybe what you would carry as a recreational climber, because the demands on my axe are going to be greater. I'm going to do a lot more step chopping, whereas you might carry something a bit lighter as a recreationalist because you just don't need anything that industrial. And then the ski tours have different needs altogether because they'll just use them for self-arrest. The manufacturers have realized this and have developed a number of different ice axes for different jobs. So why don't we just go and take a look at a few of those, and then we'll come back here and maybe we'll haul some wood, tote some water, and get dinner going, hey? These puppies here, now they're pretty much, they look very similar to the axes, you know, the straight shaft ice axe, but they have this bend in them now, which, from my understanding, is to facilitate your ice climbing, so you can get in a little steeper terrain. So you can see here now, Black Diamond has one of these ultra super light axes, which basically would be just for self-arrest. This little puppy weighs next to nothing at all. Doesn't have that aggressive a head. It has more of a traditional ice axe head on it, you know, not with a steep droop. And that's what you'll notice about those other ones. They have a little steeper droop in the ice axe, which facilitates the placing of it and gives it a lot stronger bite. And I like Petzl's designs. I mean, they make some pretty good equipment. And also like Black Diamond. Now, the difference between, say, a waterfall ice axe and an alpine ice axe is that, barring getting rid of this piece right here, you could drive an alpine ice axe right straight into the snow, because in the alpine environment, quite often that's what we have to do with the ice axe. Where a pure waterfall ice tool, that's not really required that often, and so these larger handles are made to facilitate the grip and less for driving into hard snow and using it for balance. The forefather to the ice axe is the alpenstock, or the shepherd's tool. Now this was a much longer tool that was about shoulder height, and by today's standards it seemed excessive. But we got to remember that crampons had yet to become commonplace. And so when you're walking on hard snow with hobnail boots, yeah, probably a longer tool would have been quite handy. The original tools had the adze vertically inclined, like a wood chopping axe, but that was quickly changed, and it wasn't long before the adze was changed to horizontal, with the handle giving us our present configuration. Today's ice axe is really quite simple. The average length is about 70 centimeters for a person between 5'8" and 6 feet in height. If you're shorter, go with a 65 centimeter axe. Taller, go with a 75. There's not much variation there. The parts of the axe are as follows: the pick, sharp and nasty, designed for purchase in the snow or for chopping ice. The head, which makes the top part of the axe. An adze for chopping steps or bollards in the snow. Leash, your axe may or may not have this. Personally, I prefer without. A stopper for the leash, in this particular model anyhow. Rubber grip is common on the bottom, and at the very bottom is a spike or ferrule, and this is for adding stability when you're walking on hard snow or ice, so that the tool doesn't slip on that material. The first of the modern design axes had wooden handles, but by the mid-70s these were replaced with more modern materials, most commonly aluminum and some fiberglass. Today we have a number of ice axes designed for a multitude of purposes. The biggest variation is in length and weight, and this is dictated by what the tool is used for, whether it be industrial guiding to ski touring or just light scrambling. Now it's interesting that you choose that axe right there. This is called the Guide. It's a Charlie Moser, and can you feel how heavy that is? Pick that up. Is that heavy? Okay, now how about this one? Pretty light, isn't it? It's heavy, but is it heavy?
Light.
It's really light, isn't it? In between, this was a pretty popular tool way back in the day. This is called a gravel.
It's light.
Yeah, it is light, isn't it? But it's still got some weight to it, and it has a very, semi-aggressive pick. And you put a sling on that puppy and wrap it around your wrist, and you can do some pretty good climbing. It has an aggressive shape adds to it too. This has got a really good design. It's got more of a half moon shape to it. And I like the pick shape. Nice big hole for clipping carabiner into, another one for hooking a carabiner or a strap to. One major use for the ice axe is building a T-slot anchor. And this is a great way to build an improvised anchor on a snowfield so that you can safely bring up a second or a party of a couple of friends. And just using a quick body belay like this here is a quick, safe, fast, functional way to climb. So the question often arises whether you should have a leash on your ice axe or not. Like a permanent leash, I'm not a big fan of those because I'm constantly changing the direction of my axe, and so if its leash is around my wrist, I'll have a tendency not to as freely move my axe to the position that it's supposed to be in, whichever the uphill hand is, or as part of any of my alpine kit. If I have an axe, I have one of these double-length runners. So then I just take the strands, bring them down to mid-shaft. Just go once around my tool and then run the end through, and that's all I do because I like it to sort of bite down on the shaft a little bit so it stays in place if I'm weighting it. And then I know this is a little bit long, so I simply just build a chicken hook here at the bottom, and I have a place to clip in if I get all nervous. All right, then I can just slip my hand in. 1, 2, 3, and now I've got, it's difficult for my hand to get out of there. I've got a sling attached to the top of my tool, and I carry it with me, and I can quickly use it if I'm using it in steeper, more technical terrain. Okay, so if you're wearing a harness and in your backcountry carrying an ice axe, you probably got a pack on. And ski mountaineering, I always have a pack with me. So if you got to get your hands back, one thing that you can do, one option of course, is just sneezing into your hand and throwing your tool into your gear loop. The thing here is, once in a while I have poked myself in the thigh, you know, with my tool, and it clangs around. You kind of sound like an old cowbell coming home. So, unless it's just for a move or two, what I also will do with my ice axe, and I know I'm going to get all kinds of comments, this is totally unsafe, but I've done this thousands of times and never made any issue of it, is between my back and my through the shoulder strap of my pack, here, I'll stick my ice handle and then I'll drop my ice axe right down in there. And it just nestles in nice and comfortably in there. I can't even really feel it. I have full use of my shoulders. And then when I want to get my ice axe back, I just simply pop it up. There it is, right? I want to make sure I got a really good grip on my ice axe. When speed's starting to pick up, I roll down, put the axe in, bring my feet down, and bring myself to a stop.